Okay, I have a couple of different things I want to talk about. For one thing, I feel like shit. Like, I absolutely feel like shit. Like, I feel 100% like I'm being poisoned. And I just don't, I'm so sick of this shit. It's just it's exhausting to feel so shitty when you keep trying to do all these detoxing and cleansing to the point where I start being like, man, am I detoxing too much? Like, I'm gonna go down to just doing like, right now I'm just gonna do the zeolite drops. Yesterday I did drink a bottle of the copper water, and also the oxygen water. Oxygen water is it tastes kind of like pool water or something, and then the copper water, but I don't know if any of this stuff is doing anything. Then I start being like, well, what if you're detoxing this one and it does something to this? Like, oh my gosh. But I feel like it's, the chemicals and toxins and stuff. And yesterday it was a full on just smoke everywhere, where it did seem like it was coming in from somewhere else because it was so evenly distributed that you could tell there wasn't a thick spot. The past couple days there was. And it's so weird too, because I said something to the HOA girl and then she started going on telling me, well, the guy says he's not burning anything. And I'll guarantee you that there was smoke everywhere on Tuesday and Wednesday or something like that. I was like, Tuesday I went up to the fucking food bank. It was clear as fuck. There was not a damn bit of smoke anywhere. It was so sunny and people kept going and standing out in the sun. It was so freaking hot in the sun and it was so sunny. And then I get over here and there's smoke starts being it. And it's like, whatever. I've gotten to the point I'm not arguing with people. They have no awareness. They don't see things, and so be it. It's like, I don't care. It's like, whatever. And so, and this is one that just this morning, there's a couple that I saw, and I see these all the time, but I don't know, this morning just kind of hit me a certain way or something. It depends on your mood. But so this one girl was going off on Russell Brand because it's like, well, if you don't have anything to talk about, let's talk about the list and let's just dissect these people. And, there's certain people on there that for sure that they are rotten. They're rotten to the core. And you see it in their lifestyle and who they are and the pictures they take and all of the stuff that they run out and spout out to everybody. You could tell, like, they're very much in a certain direction. Well, this one girl was saying, those people are for a certain group, but the other people, because every single celebrity is just a rotten piece of shit. Everybody, if you've made any money, once you go past a certain level, you've sold your soul and you're a rotten piece of shit. And so you are just used by the DS to guide people the wrong direction. So this person was going off on Russell Brand and saying, and always got to throw in the fucking new age. Oh, he's pushing the new age agenda. The new age agenda. Now there's a whole thing with the star seeds. And I'll finish the new age agenda, Russell Brand, first, because, how dare him not be pushing Jesus Christ, I guess, apparently. And that he is paid opposition. He's only allowed to say what he's allowed to say. And it's just to get like these fringe people, I guess like me or something, to be like, oh, new age. Oh, well, let's go see, Russell Brand or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I keep telling people, don't just follow somebody. Like, have an assortment of people that you go to for reference, but sit with information and see how it resonates inside with yourself. Don't just, oh, well, he says, it doesn't feel right to me, but I'm going to do what he says. I'm just doing what he says. It's like, no, don't do that. And so, like, I don't even know some of these things that people say. It's like, maybe they just know something I don't know. Maybe they just know that that's how people work. Because, and they got to be told all the time. Don't do that. Don't just blindly follow people. Don't just do what somebody says. They say jump off the cliff. Okay, well, it must be okay. He said, and jump off the cliff. Like, don't be like that. You have to be an independent thinker. You have to use your critical thinking, your logic, and shit like that. And there's just so many people that are so, I don't know. Is it emotionally charged with some of this stuff? Is it, you fooled me, now you'll never fool me again. I will be, I will see through it all. Like, I don't know. Because then I think Russell Brand is like 6'3". I know there's some tall girls out there. I mean, I was tall back in the day. Now there's so many more tall girls, but it used to be a lot more rare. And so 6'3", I swear to God, I think the guy's 6'3". And this person who was saying, he's pushing the new age agenda for the DS because it's all just too, I don't know. Like, they do not want us to think freely about our spirituality or anything. They just want us on the book. So she said he's 100% was born a woman. 100% was born a woman. There's no fucking way he's a man. Just like, like back in the day when he first came onto the scene, and he was like a sketchy kind of druggy kind of guy. He was always talking about his appendage and how wonderful it was and how much the women liked it. I was like, well, do you know that part of him? Because I'm pretty sure he's a natural born man. Like, he acts like a natural born man. It's like, I do not see anything female about this guy. And she's carrying on. She can see he's a total girl. He's not tricking anybody. It's like, when did your awareness of this guy come? Like, what? Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just, And then another one went off on Jim Carrey. You see these ones a lot where they just, because he's on the flight log. Lots of people get invited to parties. Hey, yeah, we'll give you a ride. Come with us. Especially when you see, there are some people who he's been in movies with, who I'm sure that they were a regular, and they put those girls out to be like, come on over. Let's have a good old time, and get people to go to the party. That doesn't mean everybody was like, hell yeah, this is my scene. I'm going back. Just because you were there one time doesn't mean anything. But these people, they just, and so this, and, when you try and tell them too, when you try and point it out, like, yeah, well then if he is, then why did he go on Kimmel and say that? And then why was his girlfriend suicided? Like, why, and then he was drug through the media savagery. Then why did that happen? Just to keep him in line. I mean, they do that to keep you in line for sure. You don't speak out. But nobody's going to risk everything and speak out if they're not truly trying to get people to listen. But so many people just wouldn't listen, It's all in timing. It's all in the timing of the awakening, is when people are ready to comprehend and hear what's being said. Because so many just weren't. Everything was a joke. Everything was like, oh yeah, right, even though when he went on Kimmel, they added the laugh track and nobody was laughing, supposedly, and the audience was dead silent. Like, what the fuck? Because there's so many people. Like, I was newer to the Illuminati. People have been studying that shit for fucking 10, 12, 20 years probably. So there's a lot of people who, knew when he started saying that stuff, like he was telling the truth. And, Kimmel, he's just, that guy is deep state. Like, and it's sad. I mean, he's got little kids and stuff, and like probably like lets people have their way with them. Seeing Podesta come back into the scene now, it's weird because, he has been, I would say he's probably been, separated from his head, himself, him and his brother. And this is definitely some sort of clone or masked person, just because we need to have the people on the main stage. Because just think, it's going to be very cathartic, even though this is not the real Joe. But to see this guy go down is going to be cathartic. Like, it is. There's something in the visualization, in the playing it out, in seeing it that kind of gives you closure. And that fucking guy is somebody who has done some really bad stuff. Like, we're going to need closure. We're going to need to see this guy go down. So, of course, he's got to come to the main stage. And, of course, fucking puppet man is going to bring him there, because that guy doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. I don't know it's the same person every day. Who knows? It's just the person to try and show us how outlandish this shit was. But on this one with the Jim Carrey one, they weren't saying, he was a girl. I don't know. Probably they will start doing that too. Like, oh, he's definitely a woman. It's like, he's like 6'2". Russell Brand's like 6'3". Like, these extremely, extremely tall people. Next, they're going to be saying they're from Eastern Europe and they're models and they came to become comedians or something. Like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who went to try and enter into different areas of entertainment and didn't have any idea what they were getting themselves into. But I don't think every single person is the opposite sex. And I mean, there's tons of people that went to Hollywood who couldn't even get past a certain point. There's tons that, the first time they got asked to, do something sexual, that they left and said, no, I've got more value than that. Like, everybody has their own thing. But there is definitely people that have been involved that are there to come to the surface, so that it is like part of the exposing of it. There had to be some people who were exposing the truth, so we would see. So I don't know. But the ones when they go on Jim, it's just sad because they get so upset. They get so like distraught about it. It's like it made me start crying. Like, because it really makes me sad. Because these people are sad. Because it was like this guy, he was just going on and on, like he's going through the whole one, showing all these different pictures, and all of them, he's just saying mean stuff about him until he got to this one. And then he was saying how hurt he was and disappointed because he liked the person so much. And there's a lot of people like that. I mean, especially him. Like, he did all those kind of movies that were, ones that people loved, funny characters and stuff. So, and it bothers me, some of the people that they keep saying are bad. It's like, I don't know. So many people don't have any discernment. They just, well, this must be true. Well, this must be true. Well, this must be true. But they don't think through it or something. And they just are willing to just jump on anything and not even give somebody the benefit of the doubt. It's like, man, I wouldn't want some of these people on my jury. It's no wonder when I went to court that the lawyer was just like, the jury is the worst. It's the worst. That's who you are fucking talking to the whole time, is the jury. And they would much rather believe that the hospital did everything right than did anything wrong to you. And it's true. You can go through the whole thing and they will still think the person is the liar, and is it the plaintiff? No, the defendant. No, I don't even fucking know. But they still would rather think the big corporation is on the up and up than the person complaining about them. The person complaining is just trying to get something from this poor corporation, this poor, conglomerate. This poor person's just trying to fuck them over. It's like, oh my God. But you just kind of see that, the way these people think. Like, it's like people are already guilty before they've even been to trial. It's like, you don't even know. How do you know? And then you're going around saying that. Isn't that, I thought that was called something when you slander somebody. I don't know. I just, that was bothering me. Something else, oh my gosh. And there's so much stuff, like these people going on and on about the ascension symptoms and what's going on. More people who find their psychic gifts, who, coming out of the closet as, I'm a gifted person. Everybody just, I'm the go-to here. I know everything. And it's just like, oh my gosh. We want to be empowering people. not just trying to jump in and be like, hey, I'm better than everybody. Oh, yeah, and the starseed thing. Oh, my gosh. So the starseed thing. So when I very first started hearing of starseeds, and it was, would have been back when I started having my awakening, so like 6 or 7 years ago or something. And I started hearing of light worker. I think I might have even heard light workers first, light workers, star seeds, and stuff like that. And so when I would hear people talking about it, they would always be is people whose soul they weren't here for this cycle, like the earth school. Like when you come into earth school, you have to go through all of the program. You have to go through the classes in order to complete the cycle so that you have all of the things that you came here to learn. Whatever it was that you came here to learn. You have to complete a cycle. You don't just come in for one and go, whoa, that was too hard. Fuck that. I'm not going back. No, you have a whole cycle you have to finish. You have to play all sides. You can't just come in and play one side. You can't just come in and be the good guy or the bad guy. You have to play the different parts. So everybody gets a chance to experience the different possibilities of growth and what is that called? Like expansion of your mind, of your perspective, of your thinking, of your knowledge. So, there's a process to it. And so the souls that came, the star seeds, light workers, wanderers, because wanderers would talk about it in Book of One. And that's what I've said. I know I'm one. I even was talking to what is that? Daniel Scranton. He's one of those channelers who channels people from other planets or whatever. And I had a reading by him, and didn't tell him anything about this. And he came in and started saying, I was talking to the Arcturians, and he was saying that I was a wanderer, or they were saying that I was a wanderer, and that they knew me from a different time and stuff like that. But I knew that when I was reading the stuff out of the Book of One, I was like, this is who I am. I know for sure. Like you can just feel it. You just know it. And then and I've talked about before that I have some sort of a thing with the Pleiades, like even to the fact where they talk about what the people look like in this life. I matched all that stuff, the way they think and stuff. So I was like, I'm in alignment with that. I feel like a resonance. So does that mean I'm a star seed wanderer from the Pleiades? I don't know. I don't know all of this stuff. I just know what I feel that I have some sort of a bond to or feel in alignment with. And so, to me, that is, how I feel about myself. Like, but I also feel like that I can remember lives here, but it was a long, long time ago. And then there's a whole aspect of, implanted memories. So then it's like, how do we know what memories are our own and which are implanted? How do we even know? We don't even know everything about how DNA works. How much of our memories is just in our DNA from other ancestry? Because we are all cells of the same thing. And when you think about all the cells, like our body is full of cells. We're just all made up of cells. And just like we are the cells, the souls of the solar system, this body of life, then in the human body, like everything has different cells. Like you have different cells in your eyes, different cells make up your hair, different cells make up your kidneys, different cells make up your lungs, different cells make up your skin. Like it's a completely different. And then you think about how the souls work and how there's just a very unique different part. But then you think like, well, if you were to meet back up with your tribe, you'd meet back up with all of the souls or cells that carry that same program, same structure that you are, because you are structured from like the organ cells or the heart cells or kidney, bladder, whatever, that is what you're there. And I bet you if we really got down to it and we started understanding like the different processes that go on in our body and what each is doing, that if we were to align to different places, we would see like, oh, well, that place, the original place those cells came from, was to, learn about, like if you had kidney cells, like you were a soul that was structured in a way that was to, like what kidney would be, to take, like you take in something and then you, what is the word? I cannot get this word. Filter it. So then you filter the information so that the cells or souls that carry that structure would be good at filtering information, say, like everything is like micro, macro. But anyways, so now you have this whole thing because it's going against, of course, because the New Age spiritual movement is really what people should be focusing on. So, there's all this attack on all of that New Age and spiritual. It's so attacked. It's mental. And then even, the two celebrities that go so much going out and speaking about spiritual stuff, and then, that people are saying, oh, it's not even a real woman. Oh, they're just deep state and stuff like that. It's frustrating. So anyways, this person, and this was a tarot reader, which also, by the way, I still like, there's so many of these tarot readers who are fully and wear so much makeup, so much hair color and stuff like that. That's all toxins. It's all chemicals. So what in their connection to spirit, what is their guidance? Is obviously don't fear chemicals and toxins. To me, it's just very cotton ego. Like, oh, I know how to read some tarot cards. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to get the book and read it. Because I was reading tarot cards a long time. I went and did a whole long class. And tarot card reading is, it's complicated. It's not just like simple. And that's why so many of these people have been doing it so long, get so irritated that these people don't even say the right things about the cards. They're just, no, there's a lot of people being misled. But anyway, so this girl was a tarot reader, and she was putting this message out to the other witches. And she was talking about the star seeds, that is part of the deep state programming, that goes all the way back to, I think she was going back to Hitler, but she was going further back. Like, this is a movement that has been, it's like an Aryan movement, that these people who call themselves starseeds, that goes all the way back to this movement that started then, that they called them starseeds then, and that they are the Aryan people who say they come from somewhere else and they're better than everybody else and they're here to teach people. It's like, okay, well, you're kind of, she went on, I think she did 3 minutes talking about this, how we have to be so weary of starseeds. So we got to be weary of New Age. We got to be weary of anybody who talks about spiritual stuff. We got to be weary of starseeds, like, because all of the time when I've been hearing about starseeds, there hasn't been, I'm sure there is a lot of egomania going on. Like, so many people waking up, like I said, who just all of a sudden, they're the saviors of the planet over and over, like over and over and over. You see these TikToks. And so to me, the starseeds were always just in alignment with someplace else. They just felt like, this isn't my home. I know I don't belong here. This feels weird. And I always felt like that. I could not understand this world, this place. I could never understand the way people acted and what they did and what they valued and stuff. It never made any sense to me. And so it's people like that that also feel like, this just doesn't make any sense. Like, I know this isn't the way things are supposed to be. I know I've lived different than this. And then they feel that they came here to share the knowledge from where they're from. So it isn't like the way that that girl was making it. And then, but they keep taking these words. I'm telling you, they take these words and then they turn them and they make them into something different. And it's all just to mislead people. So then if people go in and they see something like all this, because there's so much stuff in the awakening stuff where starseeds, light workers, and they all feel very spiritually inclined and want to share what they understand. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I kind of feel like it is part of just to help people stay asleep. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to anybody different. Don't listen to spiritual stuff. And another thing too is yesterday I was looking for something to watch and it was very difficult to find anything. And today it looks like it's gonna, I don't know, it looks kind of rainy. Like the weather, everything is just, I don't know. I just am so energetically drained and burnt out on this. God, I just want it to hurry up. And it's also kind of scary because I think it's gonna be horrible. Like that's another thing that you keep seeing because all these, super spirits now are saying all their stuff that they're getting their visions and signs and all of this stuff. And, for sure it's going to go the other direction. But what's going to lead into that, how much worse does that have to get? And then, and it's so bad right now. Like we're not hearing all the stuff. When you go in and you see, I just saw one and it was just showing about Seattle. Jesus Christ. It's just like shootings and fires and oh my gosh, it's bad. I didn't even know people were hanging out there. And there's just tons of people getting shot all the time. And there is and fires all over the place. And there's tons more crime. I mean, the homeless are just standing out there smoking drugs, and thieves will attack drugged out people. And the people I've seen on here where people keep showing in the cities, the drugged out people, I'm telling you, they look fucking like somebody just took their battery pack out. They're all just slumped over, bent over, and just, it's creepy as fuck. And so, then you have all these people who are just, to me, it's just like lost. Like they don't even know what to do. So you're saying, that, oh yeah, so that girl, yeah. So she was saying, oh yeah, okay. So she was talking to the witch ones. And so anyways, this movie popped up when I was looking for something. It was Practical Magic. And it keeps going across and going across. And so this time, I was just like, I decided to do a TikTok. And I said, when you go back and you watch something and, it gives you a different view when these are real witches, blood drinking, insect consuming witches. And it's just the whole thing about that is it's just kind of funny because there's a huge amount of women who call themselves witches. And I mean, if you know your own power, you would have been called a witch. So, it is something that, a lot of women align with when they start realizing that they have powers, and, but these women are not, they've gone full bore on this title, this label, they dress like it, they do their makeup like it, they're like, I don't know, I can't even tell you. Like, just if you want to know about it, go on witch TikTok. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I was thinking, like, how many of these women who call themselves that, like, they're not drinking blood and eating insects? Like, just think about the labels, because then you have these ones who are doing that. So, I don't know, vampire witches, like, it's just weird. The whole thing with words. I think that's why sometimes it's so hard to explain some stuff, because the words are tricky. it's tricky. This whole place is very tricky. It's very dark energy here, very tricky. And so this is something people really need to be aware of, because I keep seeing these all over the place. So the things you need to be aware of, the little tags, if you find a tag on your car, and the tags have gotten more, like they're putting trackers on people's cars, but these little zip tie, zip tie on your car. But if you come out to your car and you find any money next to your car or tissue on your handle, anything, you're not supposed to touch it. Like don't even open that door. Go to the other side, the passenger side. Go through that door and get into your car. Don't go through the one that's been tagged or something, because they're putting some kind of poison or something on these things. And if it's on the money on your door handle or whatever. But their whole thing, and this is the other thing too, in this one, the girl who I saw talking about this, she said that she was at Walmart with her baby, and she was carrying her little baby and walking around Walmart, and she said that these two guys started following her around. They're just following her all around. And she was getting kind of freaked out about it and weirded out. So she went to a completely different part or something. And she said that it reminded her of what this other woman had said that she had seen on a TikTok that was in Walmart. And that woman said that there was these people came up to her and said, "Oh, smell this perfume." And then I don't know if she fully knocked out, like, I don't know that woman's whole story, but so this woman, she said she was thinking about that and she was standing on the aisle, and suddenly those two guys were there again. And she said when they came this time, I could smell a really strong smell of a musky kind of perfume. And she said she grabbed her shirt, she covered her face, she grabbed her kid and covered hers and ran. She said, I literally ran out. I ran past the guys. I ran out of the store, ran to my car, started putting my stuff in, and I was already feeling lightheaded. She said, I felt so drugged. I felt really weird. She said, I felt like I was like leaving my body or something. She said it was so creepy. And she ran out to her car, starts putting her stuff in. One of those guys was suddenly standing next to her and started putting her stuff into her car. She jumped in her car and drove off. But and she did end up going to the ER and stuff like that. But she got home, her daughter conked out. She said her daughter never takes a nap. Her daughter was out. And she said she got a horrible headache. She was feeling really drugged. She was feeling really out of it. And luckily that they didn't get fast enough to follow her, because that's what they are doing, is the tags and stuff. So they drug you, then they follow you and they get you. And she said in some cases that you smell the thing, it knocks you out instantly, depending. This woman said, I have a really high tolerance to drugs. So I think that's why I was able to get away. Just don't smell anything. As soon as you smell a smell, you're supposed to run. And she said that but so those guys, when they come out, they are there to, grab your car, grab you, and I would think probably they were going after her kid, like knock her out, grab her kid, because that's the biggest commodity. And then the whole system is set up to where you can't find anybody. Like, suddenly the cameras aren't working in Walmart. The parking lot cameras just happen to be down that day. Oh, and the police, well, they don't know what to do about it. The whole system is there to protect the bad people, because we are in the upside down. We are in hell. We are in such a dark place that is so full of evil and so full of toxicity. And that is what we've got to be breaking free from. But you have to have it in your inner soul that you want to break free. You want more. And, it makes me sad that these people are turning people away from New Age and spirituality, because spirituality to me is understanding that there's a spiritual world out around you and understanding you're a part of it, and to take your own path to figure out who and what you are and what is your connection to all things. That's being spiritual. And when you do start doing that, it changes the way you see things. You know how important it is to be mindful of what you put out, which, just funny enough, my daughter just messaged me a little while ago and said, oh, guess who I saw, and so I go through a couple names. And then she starts telling me, no, it's a store that we went to like 15 years ago. And she went in and was talking to the woman. The woman remembered me. And she goes, everybody, the nail place, like they're always asking about you and everybody remembers you and they want you to come in and stuff. And she said, all these places or whatever. And I said, well, I think it's because I'm just a nice person. I just put out good energy. So I think that is what's important. I think it's important to be mindful and put out good energy. And it's just crazy. Like, all these years later, you remember somebody who just came into your store, and because I'm assuming because we were nice, you probably get remembered if you're a total dick too, but people wouldn't want you to come back. But I've said that for so long. I bet, when you leave the room, are people like sigh of relief, like, oh my God, I'm glad they're gone? Or are they like, oh, don't go, wait, I want to talk to you some more? That's what you got to be thinking of. And it doesn't have to be your number one priority. You don't want to be stuck in this thing of trying to be a people pleaser so that you get people to like want to be around you, so you just please them, because that's draining. You can't do that. You have to be authentic. You have to be yourself. When you really get in touch with yourself, your authenticity, your true nature, and you really heal the wounds, the triggers, the things that your automatic responses, the things where you don't see things clearly because you are seeing it through a lens of pain and suffering because you went through something that traumatized you. So you got to heal those things. You got to clear those things. And then, you're putting out a pure energy, one that isn't trying to take from other people. And people recognize that. So you don't want to, just like, oh, I've got to get everybody to like me. That's what's going to raise my vibration. No, that is not at all. That is what you got to break free from. You don't want to just go around and get everybody, oh, I just want them to like me, like me. No, you got to be true. You got to be real. And sometimes being real is being honest. And not everybody wants to hear honesty. And so then that makes you into the bad guy. But then once you see you're the bad guy for somebody, then you see like, well, everybody's a bad guy for somebody. Everybody's a good guy for somebody. Everybody's a bad guy for somebody. We're playing all these parts. So is there really good and bad? Because you have both and you're playing both parts. So how can it be just one thing is good and one thing is bad? Because it all works together to create an experience, to create a definitive way of seeing something so that you have an idea. So, but as you heal and as you become more clear on your spirituality, you realize like there is no good or bad. There is not a good or bad person. There's just it's all a spectrum. And what is good for some people is bad for others, and what's bad for some people is good for others. So there is no set like that's bad, which gets in such a shady position because of some of the stuff that we all find so disturbing, and that we all want to be like, oh, that's bad. That's really bad. And I do think anything that you do that is overriding another person's soul, like if you're doing something to them, taking advantage of them, hurting them, any of these sexual things to somebody, that you are overriding them, you are doing something to somebody that is not participating in the same way you are. I do think that's, it's hard to not say that that is bad because it is hurting another being. in a different kind of way than just hurting him by being honest and saying, well, you're kind of an asshole, you should have done, or whatever. Like I have one of them is like I have 4 daughters, and 2 that are speaking to me and 2 that are not. Two, they're going through their own stuff, and I'm obviously not the person to help them. But the one thing that is strange is because one of my daughters has blamed me for everything in her whole life. And it's funny too, because she's also, from the time she was tiny, I'll do whatever I want. I'll decide. Don't tell me what to do. I'll learn from my own lessons. Like that was like, she came in that way. So, there wasn't much room for me to begin with. And when I would, when I was just who I was, as I was at that time, the mom who I was capable of being at that time of my life, it damaged her. It wasn't the right mom. She needed a different mom. She wanted like a Betty Crocker kind of mom, I guess. And I'm just me. Like I bake, but it's more than that. And so anyways, I gotta clear my throat. So anyways, she was super, super judgy on me, and super always mad at me, always yelling at me, always telling me, what a disappointment I was, and, I'm the worst person in the whole world. And then she could switch back and, be crying, well, I love you. You know how much I love you. It's like, okay, it's a little emotionally unstable there, but, I'm sorry I've disappointed you. I can only be who I can be. I can't be something different. We're here to learn. And she can, like, get that concept even when she was here. Like, she could get that concept, but she can't, like, put it into motion into her own life or something. She's got so much stuff going on right now. It's like, oh my gosh. And it breaks your heart. Like, you want to go in as a parent and rescue them and save them from the creation of their own disaster. But, you can't. You have to let things play out. You have to let them learn from their mistakes and learn from what they are experiencing. You can't interfere. And so she is, it's like she's replaying the scenarios, only it's her daughter now coming at her. And her reaction and stuff, as I saw, her daughter has shared this whole conversation to show what this conversation was, And so in the conversation, what I see is like, it's reaping what you sow. It's like you're getting back what you put out. Now you get to experience it from the other side. You're going to experience kind of like what you put me through. Now you're going to experience it and see how frustrating it is. And even the stuff she's saying, I can tell, like, she feels very attacked, and I'm sure she feels very confused. And another thing about it is, you've been talking shit on me to your kids since they were tiny. And I mean, that's what they've heard. So you've implanted their view. Like, I have to deal with that. Like, I always go, oh, grandma, you're so crazy. Oh, grandma, you're so crazy. Okay, I'm just crazy. Don't mind me. Don't listen to a word I say. I'm just crazy. So now she's getting, this whole scenario turned back on her by her kid, and telling them how disappointed they are with her. And, one of the things was, well, I guess you wish I would have just given you up for adoption. No, I wish you just would have never had me. I'm sorry you needed to fill your own emptiness by having me. And I mean, I don't want to talk too much about somebody else's private stuff, because it seems like there's a lot going on that is bringing up so much stuff in people. So much is coming to the surface. And, I'm sure my daughter is feeling the pain from it, feeling rejected, feeling judged, feeling abandoned. And but the thing is you feel those things because you're blocking it out. You don't, I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to realize that I'm the bad guy for somebody. I don't want to realize I have a dark side, that I have this side that is doing stuff without me even realizing. And so when you are blocking that view of self, like you don't want to see what you've done to hurt other people. You don't, like, you can't even fathom it. You can't wrap your head around it. It's them. They're just weak. It's their problem. It's not my fault. It's them. But we all want to be acknowledged for our pain and be respected and validated. But we have a really hard time when we're the one causing someone else pain to do that for them. And that's when we have to go into that, like, well, what do we need when somebody's saying that to us? What do we need from them? And it's weird because, I've heard this so many times from her, the way I need to react and what I need to listen to, even when she was here. And that's what we kept getting in fights with. She kept coming and telling me what I needed to do, how I needed to behave, what I needed to say, if I needed to talk, if I didn't need it. It's like, Jesus Christ, when are you just going to accept me? You haven't accepted me my whole life. Not my whole life, her whole life. But that is when you go into it, it's like, okay, this is some soul shit. This is some stuff we're working out from life to life to life, because you can just see certain things when you can see, like, there's a lot of things that we're dealing with that is much deeper than the life that we're presently existing in. And so, and sometimes, there's people who do all sorts of things, cord cutting and stuff. I want to heal the stuff. I want to heal the things, but also you have to let go of things that you don't have control over. And we have to recognize that, because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to fix things that you don't have control over. You have to just let some things go and let them be and let them play out. But, I know that when you are being under attack right away, you put up your defense, like, just automatically become defensive. Well, and I am particularly trying to explain myself. Well, you're just not understanding me. You just don't see things the way I'm trying to. If you just understood me, if you just understood where I was coming from, if you just knew my intention. But it doesn't matter about any of that, because they're still hurt. It doesn't matter what your intention is. They're still feeling this pain. So, but I would get really wrapped up in that, and that would drive everybody crazy, because I was constantly, well, wait, I didn't try and hurt you. Wait, don't blame me. Like, and that isn't what people need. But I still, I feel like I got clear in my throat, but still, and it's this fuck weather too. I swear to God, I don't even know what season. Yesterday, I was sitting outside and I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm 61. I could fucking be 100 and something. Like, I cannot keep up with this weather, the time of year, the time of day. Like, everything is just so fucking twisted up. So, and this weather, god damn this weather. So, anyways, so her feeling very attacked and stuff, and then it just kind of becomes like this bitter argument, and it becomes very like rejected. Both people feel rejected. Both people are frustrated, and it's what even adds more complication is because it's people who we love. It's people that we love. We just want to be around them. We just want to hang out with them and talk to them and, enjoy their company. And then these things come up that create so much division, and it's hard to, it's an emotionally charged, because you have feelings for them, but you're also very frustrated, and you also want to be heard. You also want to be validated. You also, you know what I mean? So it just becomes so much emotionally charged. And that is why I think it's important to don't be reactive. Take time, really sit with your thoughts, and, talk to your higher self, like, what am I supposed to do with this information? How am I supposed to feel about this? What is it I'm supposed to see? That's one thing that I'm always asking mine. Like, even if there's a place in my body, like my stomach has been bothering me so much. And so I will think of that place or touch that place or whatever. And I'll ask them, show me why this pain is being held here. Show me what I need to see. Show me what I need to release. And then you can keep asking them, clarify, show me, what is it I need to release? And there's so much to release. Like, you just go, 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 go all the time, because that's what we're here to do right now. That is the changing of the age. It's like a release. It's like seeing the truth, seeing what is real, and then releasing. It is like a birth. We're birthing a new world. We're birthing a new age. And we're in labor right now. And it's a fucking long ass, hellacious labor. It's hard. But anyway, so when you're having these triggers, and somebody's coming at you and telling you like how you've ruined their life and disappointed them and stuff, like, all I can think of, is you do need to just sit with it, and you need to acknowledge them. Don't become defensive. Like, that has been a problem for me for so long, being defensive. Do your best not to be defensive. And it is hard because you feel so attacked. And especially, anybody who's got their own issues. And we all have issues. Like, that's the thing. We all have issues. We all thought we were the only ones and that we were the weirdos. But then you come to find, like, no, we were all struggling. We all had issues. We all had problems that we didn't know what to do. So when somebody is coming at you, like when I was seeing this talk, I was seeing like possibilities, that my daughter could have done. Like, oh, well, she could do this, or she could say this, And to me, I think her kids, what they're wanting, I think that people get themselves in such a tough position, And people do it to themselves, and they do it to themselves so that they can learn from the experience. But it's very hard when you see people get themselves in such a predicament. So, she's going to have this baby. Now she wants to move back to the dad. And then that was, a fucking nightmare to everybody involved. So nobody wants that. But then she gets herself feeling like, well, what am I going to do? I don't even have time off for having the baby. Who's going to watch it? This is the stuff that I was saying in the beginning. Like, what's your plan? What's your plan? Like, you did this, so what's your plan? What are you going to do? Now here we are, just a few months later. Now it's like, okay, so now I'm going to just up and leave the kids again. And then plus there's problems with the other parent. I guess apparently throughout this, he's gone back to drugs. So, there's just so much happening. So much happening in so many different people's lives. It is just truly so exhausting, especially when it's all people that you care about and love, and you just want you want to be able to fix it for everybody. You can't. All these souls came in for their own experience. They came in to play this out the way they wanted to play it out, what they came here to learn, what they came here to, in their soul, expand. And when you think about, we're all from different areas of this solar body. We are the cells that make up everything. But we're also unique. And so different ones came in to experience different things and learn different things. And I've even heard of people who come in and experience stuff for their whole group. Like, they come in, they're experiencing, and they're even, in meditation, giving information to these other beings who are trying to learn about the earthly experience, because it's so different than any of the other places, because we have so many challenges. It is so dark and so dense. The vibration is so low and heavy. And so much pain and suffering goes on here. And beings that don't live on places that are like that, I mean, they think like, how do you do it? How do you go through it? Especially you come here and you don't even remember who you are. Part of the challenge is to not know who you are and still make the right choices. So it's, you can see, like, if it was a game, like if you think about it, Earth is like the most mastered chess game you can imagine in the solar system, where people think of, do you want to go there? It's hard. So, and you have to do a whole group thing. Like you can't just, it's like you got to go through with a class, and everybody's got to graduate together, kind of like that. So it is, a lot of the other beings, they don't go through anything. They don't go through death. They don't even understand, like, about loss and pain and suffering and sickness. They don't have that. And we're moving in to a time where we don't have that. But you can see, like, when the whole solar system is trying to understand about this place and about the experiences and how much you learn, you can see, like, that's why I said, like, long while ago, when I said once this goes down and we really do take our place at the what is that called, the Galactic Federation, once we really do take our place at the panel, the table, or whatever, we really are super advanced compared to some of the other beings who have been advanced, because we have gone through this education system and completed it and learned all the things you needed to learn. So then the beings who've never been to a place like that, it's kind of like us going and telling people, like, you've been to Syria, and you're telling other people what it's like, and they can only grasp, like, well, what is that like? What is it like to have, shooting going on, and you're just trying to play tic-tac-toe or whatever, then, we can tell, but it is also everything that a soul learns, it is learned by all souls, because we are all connected. So anyways, it is warrior badass people who go into this world for earthly experiences, because they are so hard and you do learn so much. So even though you feel beat down and war torn and battered and sad and just remember, you are a badass. You are doing something that a lot of people are scared to do, and you're doing it. No matter what it looks like, you're doing it. And it is hard. So be gentle with yourself, be easy on yourself and give yourself props. Remember how hard this is, and, give yourself some love every day. So I'll talk to you later. I don't even know if I've said anything that it's just like the things that are sticking out to me today. This is the stuff that I'm thinking about. So anyways, hopefully it catches somebody on a day that they need to hear something like this. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.